Hey Ted, welcome to the GAC RMHC Golf Classic. Just want to give you an opportunity here to view your swing at regular speed. We'll let that play on through. We'll put you back in your dress position, and we'll go ahead and take a look at a few things for you. So while we got you back here in your setup, let's take a look at your posture. We can see here that your spine's nice and straight and on a slight tilt. Legs come down into a nicely unlocked position. Arms hang down nice and naturally in front of you, and the club works out to the ball. So if you're going to work on your golf game, I would revise this posture just a little bit. I'd like to get your spine tilted over just a little bit more. Keep your legs exactly where they are in a nicely unlocked position. Because your spine would be tilted over a little bit better, we just let your arms continue to hang down, or maybe just get your hands a little closer towards you and increase the angle relationship here, sort of between the forearms and the club shaft just a little bit. So subtle refinement to add address. Also with your alignment, we can see that your feet are running in this direction. We carry that out towards the fairway. Now, theoretically, your club face is supposed to run parallel to your feet, and parallel lines on camera would have an appearance to converge. And under that philosophy, we can see that we're set up right at the corner edge of the fairway where it meets that little body of water there. Okay, so we're going to have to probably either hit that ball straight and over the little nook there, or have to maybe draw the ball a little bit to try and get that ball back towards the center of the fairway. Let's go ahead and do a little split screen comparison between you and Jordan Spieth. Now we've got some color-coded lines on the screen just to use as a visual reference as it pertains to swing plane. But before we get into that, let's just take a look at Jordan's posture. See what I'm getting at as far as the tilt, just a little bit more angle, and getting those hands to sort of relax down towards the kneecaps just a bit. Anyways, as we initiate the takeaway, simply want to rotate our shoulders, draw our arms and hands back as well as the club, and we want to see the club coming back on plane directly along the red line. Through the early stages of the golf swing, right around here, we're going to start to incorporate some wrist hinge into play, where we're going to transition the club head from being below and in front of our hands to now being above and behind our hands. At this point in time right here, we're now going to work the golf club from red up towards the blue-yellow V zone. When we finally set the club at the top of the backswing, we want to have the left arm of the club situated on the yellow line, and if not on the yellow line, anywhere in between the blue-yellow V zone, or physically up on blue as we see with Jordan Spieth. We also want to create full shoulder rotation, and we want to do this about a very stable right leg while we maintain the posture and the spinal axis that we achieved at address. So let's go ahead and take a look at your golf swing here. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little box around your head. I want to pay attention to your forehead and your chin, and we're also going to draw a little line on your spine, and we just want to see sort of what elevation changes we create in the golf swing, if any. So let's watch you initiate your takeaway here. So your hands get pushed out away from you, and you take the club a little bit outside of the ball. So when you initiate your takeaway, don't be afraid to let your hands and your club head ever so softly work around you. The golf swing is a circular motion. It functions on a plane, therefore it functions on an arc, and an arc should be moving inside the ball, not outside of the ball. As we continue to move this back, we continue to take those hands a little further out in front. Got to start to see some wrist hinge here occur shortly. So a little stiff-wristed through the golf club through this vantage point of the golf swing. We start to get the wrist hinge now, so that's good, but again, we definitely see that the hands and arms and golf club are definitely out in front of you. We're also seeing your head move down, so therefore the spine is going down, and that's a little bit ironic because that's actually where I want your spine to start. So if we actually start in that position, then we can rotate and maintain the axis. We don't actually have to move into that position. Okay? Now you lay the club off so the club head gets behind your hand, so that's good. That gets us back into a pretty decent power position. And when we finally get set at the top of the backswing, we can definitely see by the time you get to the set position here that you definitely have now dove down into the golf ball. So you're actually getting to a position that again, like I said, I want you to start in. So if we look at your spine right now, your spine's on this tilt here as opposed to the yellow. Your head's come down. So why not achieve that position to start with, create your rotation, and we'll have no fluctuation up and down in your golf swing. Because what's going to happen now is when you move back into the golf ball, you're going to have to back out of the way and get back to the exact same position where you started. Okay? So there's a little too much up and down motion and really creating unnecessary motion that we ultimately don't need to create. Okay. Anyways, rotation looks great, stable right side, arms are in perfect geometry relative to your core, club's in perfect position, so the set position is just, it's really, really good here. As we create our transition back into the ball, looking at the left side of the screen, simply want to move our weight from our right foot to our left. We want to fire our knees and our hips laterally to the target, unwind the core, and fire the hands. And in firing the hands, we need to make sure that we're bringing the golf club from the blue, yellow V zone back down on top of red. And that's exactly what we see here with Jordan Spieth. We can see that the golf club has returned back to plane. The other thing we want to observe at this stage of the golf swing is the relationship between the lead forearm and the club. Refer to this as the check mark position. Simply means the club head right now is remaining above and behind his hands coming into the hitting zone, and this is what's going to allow us to create a lot of power in the golf swing, let alone also his ability to hit the ball straight, due to the fact, as I've already mentioned, the club returning back to plane, which is a main criteria in order to produce straight golf shots. Let's watch you create your transition back into the ball here. So actually we haven't completed the backswing yet, so there we go, that's fine. So we don't get any excess run on there. So great dropping of your hands and arms. Club's moving from the blue, yellow V zone back down onto red. This is really, really good here. And basically if we take a look at your pre-impact position can't be any better. So here's your lead forearm. Here's your golf club. You got your backwards check mark. Creating power in your golf swing will not be a problem. And we also see that your golf club has returned back to plane. So we can see you and Jordan are hitting the plane line precisely almost at the exact same time. Shaft angle's perfect. And as we continue to track into the golf ball, let's just see how the club comes into the ball. So sorry, let's go to the next frame. So that's perfect. And we strike the ball. So really, if we just connect the dots from the club having gone to there, we can very simply see that your club tracks in the golf ball directly from the red line, so directly from on plane. And as I'd mentioned, this is ultimately what allows us to hit a straight golf shot in accordance to our alignment. So the only issue is your aim just a hair to the right there. So the fact is you now have the ability to hit a straight golf shot relative to your alignment. So if that club face squares up perfectly, that ball is going to head right at the corner of the nook of that water there. Okay? If you happen to release the club a little here, impart a little bit of right to left spin, the nice thing is that that ball will start out towards that yellow flag, but then maybe it'll have just a nice soft little draw in it, and it'll work its way self away from the water back towards the center of the fairway. So let's go ahead and just take a look here through impact and have a look at what your club face did. Yeah, so your club face is definitely squaring up nice. It's definitely not over releasing, so you're not going to overdraw the ball, and we can definitely see that ball heading directly in the direction as to where you're aiming. So you got a lot of power here, so should be able to carry that over the nook of the water there. It is a pretty far carry. You get yourself through a good finish. If you did happen to impart any right to left spin on the ball, then it will draw away from the corner of that water and work itself back towards the fairway. And then obviously we don't have to worry about the distance that we're carrying that golf ball. Anyways, really good looking golf swing, super athletic. Hands work well, they come back, they fire through. Core works well, you get good coil, good uncoil. Great footwork, carrying yourself through to a good finish. Really the only thing I see here is your initial takeaway moves a little bit outside, but then you shallow it out, so it's really irrelevant because you get yourself in a really good position at the top of the backswing. And even more importantly than that, your downswing's perfect. So that's really what it comes down to if we want to hit good golf shots. It's all about the downswing in conjunction with alignment and grip. So if we want to have consistency, those are the three things we need. We need to have good aim, got to have good downswing plane, and then we have to square the face up. It looks like you're doing all three, so great job. Anyways, hope you have a fantastic day, and hope you enjoyed getting an opportunity to see your swing on video. Take care.